Welcome to the Deep Dive. You're here because, like us, you want to cut through the noise, get to what matters, and do it pretty quickly.
Exactly. No time to waste.
So today we're doing just that. We're looking at the latest from Mr. Ash's webinar concerning OnPassive. Our info comes from a pretty detailed summary video.
Okay.
Our mission here is basically to pull out the key bits, the company's direction, the challenges they're actually talking about, and maybe get a feel for what's next for OnPassive.
Right. Based on those webinar reflections. Sounds good. So what jumped out at you first?
Well, the immediate thing was, it sounds like this wasn't just a standard update call. The fact that the summary video apparently couldn't cover everything Mr. Ash laid out, that suggests quite a lot of ground was covered for the founders.
Yeah, that definitely signals something significant. It really highlights how important those, direct updates from leadership are for the OnPassive community.
Right. And it seems a fair chunk of the webinar was spent on, the current situation for OnPassive. The summary mentions talk about the challenges they face, but also, and this seems key, how the founders are actually perceiving things, how they understand the platform's path.
Yeah, that perception piece is interesting.
It feels like more than just an internal review. It kind of hints they need to get everyone on the same page, maybe. Align expectations.
Absolutely. I mean, talking openly about potential hurdles and making sure the founders who are, let's remember, the early believers, the core stakeholders, really get the competitive environment. That's crucial.
For managing expectations, yeah.
Exactly. And the fact that they made it a focus point suggests they're being proactive, trying to build that shared view of where OnPassive fits in the market.
Okay, but here's something that really stood out from the summary. This idea that a rebrand, or even a name change, was discussed.
Whoa. Okay. That is big.
Right. That's potentially a huge shift for any company.
Yeah.
What do you make of that? Why might that even be on the table?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? A rebrand. It could mean a few things. A strategic pivot, maybe? Trying to reach a different audience.
Or maybe tackle some existing perceptions head on.
Could be. The summary also noted, didn't it, that some founders had different ideas about the future.
Yeah, different expectations.
Yeah.
Which, is probably normal in a big group like that.
Sure, but it sounds like Mr. Ash was maybe trying to unify that vision a bit more.
Makes sense. And this point about competitors really knowing who's out there, their strengths, weaknesses, even their financial muscle.
That's just business 101, right?
Pretty much. But important to state clearly, I guess, you need that intel in any competitive field.
Oh, absolutely. Assessing competitors, their financial standing, their capabilities.
Yeah.
It's not just about, making a list of names. It feeds directly into your strategy, where you put your resources, how you position yourself, maybe even future partnerships or acquisitions. It shows they're looking outwards.
Okay, so they're looking outwards, talking challenges, even mulling potential big changes like a rebrand, but
I bet.
the summary was apparently very clear. The OnPassive name itself, it's staying.
Ah, okay. So despite all that other discussion, the core brand remains.
Seems like it. A strong emphasis on commitment to that existing brand. That feels like a deliberate message.
It really does. Holding on to the name, especially when you've just been talking about challenges or potential shifts, it sends a message. Stability, reinforcing that identity for the founders.
Yeah.
And didn't the summary also mention past webinars where they've talked about resilience, pushing back against opposition?
It did, yeah. So this commitment to the name probably fits that pattern, reassuring the community, keeping everyone together.
It's almost like drawing a line in the sand.
Kind of. And the summary even touched on using positive affirmations to counter negativity from outside.
Interesting tactic, like a collective mindset thing for brand defense.
Yeah. What do you think about that, focusing inward like that?
Well, it definitely speaks to keeping morale high, presenting that united front, especially if they're facing criticism. But, it does raise that question about balancing internal positivity with, addressing external perceptions or realities. How effective is that in the long run?
That's a good point. Something to think about. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The webinar also looked back, it seems.
Right. The journey so far.
Yeah, the summary mentioned Mr. Ash talking about overcoming past setbacks to get where they are. That's a pretty relatable theme, right, for any big project.
Oh, definitely. Acknowledging that bumps in the road often come before success. That's powerful, universal, really. And the idea in the summary that, big efforts can lead to big changes, but challenges are just part of that process. It underlines the need for perseverance.
And learning from those difficulties, I guess.
Exactly. That's supposedly where the valuable lessons come from, learning from the tough stuff to adapt for what's next.
So speaking of what's next, what did the summary suggest about the future for OnPassive founders? It sounds like Mr. Ash is definitely listening, paying attention to feedback.
It seems so. The mention of him being aware of feedback from videos, comments, that suggests leadership is trying to keep a finger on the pulse of the community.
Which is generally a good sign, right? Responsiveness.
Can be very valuable, yeah. Builds trust, that sense of shared purpose. Now, the summary was clear, though. No specific dates for future announcements.
Right. Mr. Ash apparently knows, but he's keeping it under wraps for now.
Exactly. But there was that hint, wasn't there, about potential surprises for the founders?
Yes. Surprises.
Yeah.
That definitely catches the ear. What kind of surprises do you think they might be hinting at, given the context?
Surprises could mean anything, really. New features, big partnerships, maybe even a shift in their market strategy we haven't seen yet. It leaves a lot of room for speculation.
It really does.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we try to, distill this whole webinar summary down.
Yeah, the key takeaways.
Seems to be, 1, a strong, reaffirmed commitment to the OnPassive brand name despite challenges.
Right, stability.
2, an open acknowledgement of current hurdles and that they're listening to founder feedback.
Engagement.
And 3, this sort of tantalizing hint of future developments, future surprises, but deliberately vague on the timing.
Yeah, that sums it up well. Reinforce the vision, acknowledge the present, and build some anticipation.
So for you listening, as we've gone through these reflections from Mr. Ash's webinar, maybe something to think about is this. In any big, long-term thing you're involved in, especially when things are complex or changing, how important is that mix? Resilience when you hit roadblocks, but also being ready to adapt,
That ability to flex when needed.
Exactly. It's always that balancing act, isn't it? Managing what's right in front of you, the expectations, while still being open to what might unfold down the road.
The constant balancing act, indeed. Food for thought.
Definitely. Thanks for diving into this with us today. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on the key takeaways from that Ash Mufareh webinar back on May 3rd.
Right. We've got notes from a recap, essentially.
Exactly. And the idea here is to give you, our listener, a really solid grasp of where the company's heading, what they've learned, and importantly, how their marketing is changing, especially with AI,
Yeah, AI seems like a big piece now.
The goal is you get the full picture without spending hours watching the original, a shortcut to being informed.
And what's interesting, like you said, is our source is already a recap, someone trying to break down Ash Mufareh's points.
Making it clearer, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe simplifying it, especially for non-native English speakers, which they mentioned. And apparently the community response was really positive during that recap.
Oh, good.
Yeah, lots of engagement. The person doing the recap also mentioned Ash Mufareh seemed relaxed, but still very determined.
Interesting vibe. So let's dig in. What are some of the first key things that jump out from this recap? Communication seems to be a big one.
Definitely. There's a strong emphasis on clear communication moving forward. The summary hints that maybe past webinars weren't always crystal clear.
Okay, any specifics mentioned, like what went wrong before?
The recap doesn't detail exact past hiccups, as you put it, but it stresses this commitment now to be more, quote, blunt and clear.
Blunt and clear, right?
Especially with that global audience in mind. The main change seems to be this. They won't announce anything is ready until, multiple checks are done.
So no more jumping the gun, perhaps.
That's what it suggests, yeah. Maybe announcements came a bit too early before, leading to, confusion or expectations not being met.
Yeah.
So now it's all about verify before going public.
Makes sense. Okay, and this sort of leads into the next point about moving to a new system, doesn't it?
It does. They mentioned moving away from an older system. The data is apparently still there, accessible, but not really usable in its current state.
Any idea what these systems relate to? Like tech infrastructure, customer data, operations? The recap give any clues?
It sounds quite foundational, maybe their core operational infrastructure or data management, but the recap is quite clear. The focus is firmly on the future.
Don't dwell on the old stuff.
Exactly. Look forward, not back. And they seem pretty confident the new system will be significantly better. Which implies this isn't just tweaking things, it's a major overhaul.
A big shift. Okay. Now, this next bit I found pretty interesting, the rocket launch analogy.
Yes, that one.
To explain learning from mistakes. Like every failed launch gives you data. What were the parallels drawn there, according to the summary?
Well, it's quite a powerful analogy, isn't it? The recap really highlighted how, just like in rocket science, a failed launch isn't just, well, a failure. It's packed with information.
Learning opportunities.
Precisely. In business, mistakes happen. It's inevitable. But the key is what you learn from them. That knowledge becomes a real advantage. It helps you avoid bigger mistakes later on.
So setbacks aren't defeats, they're data points.
You got it.
Yeah.
Essential learning, really, that fuels future success.
All right. And following on from that, the recap mentioned the team facing its own challenges, kind of like rocket development setbacks, even referencing a rocket blowing up.
Yeah, it did. That really emphasizes the resilience aspect, I think.
What does it tell us about the team's adaptability as it was portrayed?
Well, the fact that they mention learning from really significant failures, even something as dramatic as a rocket getting destroyed, it speaks volumes about their grit.
Not giving up easily.
Exactly. It suggests a culture where failure isn't the end. It's more like a trigger for innovation. You know, they mention pivoting to a whole new design, better aerodynamics, more cost-effective, all because of learning from that big failure.
So unexpected problems driving real change.
That's often how it works, isn't it? Those unforeseen things can really push you to innovate in ways you wouldn't have otherwise.
Okay, so strategy, tech, learning from mistakes. But the recap also spent time on the people, the team itself.
Yes, quite a bit.
Sounded like a call for real dedication, people who truly believe in the vision. And also, maybe, distancing from those who don't.
Yeah. The message seemed to be about building a really committed core. It suggests they understand that building something big needs more than just, clever ideas. It needs shared belief. People willing to push through hard times.
So it's about alignment, getting everyone pulling in the same direction.
I think so. It's not necessarily about kicking people out, but more about fostering a cohesive group that's genuinely invested. Especially when you're making big strategic changes, like they seem to be, you really need that dedicated, resilient team.
That makes sense. Then there was that part about personal responsibility and mindset.
Right, taking ownership, avoiding negativity.
Yeah, focus on growth. Learn from your own failures. Keep moving. Ash Mufareh apparently encouraged people's dreams, too. Why include that kind of message in a company update webinar?
Well, it adds a layer, doesn't it? It suggests the leadership philosophy isn't just about the company's bottom line. By promoting personal responsibility, positive thinking, they're cultivating a stronger, more resilient community around the company.
Engaged people are better for everyone, I guess.
Exactly. And that message about ignoring negativity, that's crucial. Negativity can really hold things back, personally and collectively. So empowering people to learn and move on helps create a much more dynamic, forward-looking vibe.
Good point. Okay, finally, let's talk marketing. The recap mentioned recovered funds leading to a shift.
Yes, a significant shift in marketing strategy.
Moving away from traditional methods.
Seems so. A real pivot away from the old ways, recognizing they're maybe less effective now, and a strong embrace of AI's potential in marketing.
AI again. Why the big focus there?
Well, the recap links it to this universal demand for more traffic, more visibility across all sorts of sectors. Everyone wants more effective marketing. And they seem to be positioning AI as the answer. The key to smarter, more targeted, maybe more personalized marketing that actually delivers results in today's world. It's presented as revolutionary for the field.
Okay, so putting it all together then. What's the big picture from this recap?
I think the main theme is learning and evolving. They're clearly acknowledging past challenges, both in, say, communication and in operations.
And using those lessons.
Right. They're moving to a new system, hoping for big improvements. There's a real focus on building that committed team, people who believe.
And the individual mindset piece.
Yeah, encouraging personal growth and resilience. And then overlaying all of that is this major strategic bet on AI transforming their marketing efforts.
So it sounds like a company really trying to use its history, the good and the bad, to build a stronger future.
That's the impression, definitely. Acknowledging the journey, the bumps, but using it all to innovate and move forward, especially in how they operate and how they reach people.
And for you listening, maybe think about how these ideas, learning from the past, embracing new tech like AI, the power of a committed team, how that might apply to what you're doing.
Yeah, what are the old systems in your world that might need a rethink? What new tools or technologies seem most promising for you?
Definitely some food for thought there.
All right, so today we're going to really dive deep into something pretty essential for the OnPassive ecosystem.
Okay.
The OES, as we call it for short.
Right.
And that is how you actually get in.
Okay.
We're talking OMail and password, and why OnPassive has designed these to be way more than just like your average login.
Uh-huh.
Think of them as your secure key to this whole suite of AI tools.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get hung up on just the login aspect of it.
Right.
But your OMail and password really are that central access point to everything that OnPassive is doing with AI and all their services.
It's like the digital handshake to get you into the ecosystem.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, let's break this down a bit.
Okay.
Obviously, security is a huge deal.
Absolutely.
So your OMail and password are not just like some basic barrier, are they?
No, not at all.
Tell me more about that.
Well, the system's designed with AI-driven security, like baked right in from the very beginning.
Okay.
It's not just about protecting like your individual account, you know?
Right.
It's about safeguarding your data across the entire ecosystem.
Right.
And preventing any kind of unauthorized access.
That makes me feel much better.
Yeah. And, there's even talk about adding two-factor authentication down the line
Oh, wow.
for an even stronger layer of security.
So, okay, OMail itself.
Yeah.
It seems like it's way more than just like your typical email service.
Definitely it is.
What's so special about it?
Well, it's really designed to be this AI-enhanced communication hub.
Okay.
And what's really interesting is they've integrated all these AI features, like speech-to-text, automatic translation, and then like incredibly good spam filtering.
Oh, wow.
Think about all the time you save with that.
I mean, yeah, spam is the bane of my existence.
Right.
So this is where it really starts to get interesting for me.
Okay.
It's not just about, sending messages and all that.
Right.
Once you're logged into OMail,
Yeah.
it's the gateway to all these different OnPassive tools.
That's exactly right.
So elaborate on that a little bit.
Well, your OMail login basically gives you this unified access to the core OES platforms.
Okay.
So we're talking OConnect for like video meetings and webinars.
Right.
OTracker, which is the AI that analyzes all your data and gives you insights.
Okay.
ONet for social connection.
Uh-huh.
OShop, the e-commerce platform.
Got it.
And OWallet for digital payments.
So basically, one login unlocks all these different services.
Like that.
It all works seamlessly.
Seamlessly, yeah.
Do you think this level of interconnectedness could lead to like entirely new ways of even interacting with these digital tools?
I think that's a great question. And I think the answer is probably yes.
Yeah.
Because the single sign-on not only streamlines everything you do,
Right.
but it also opens up the potential for these AI-powered tools to work together more intelligently.
Uh-huh.
I mean, imagine them actually anticipating your needs across different platforms.
Oh, wow, that would be game-changing.
Right.
Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
How does all this benefit businesses and entrepreneurs specifically?
Well, I think it goes beyond just personal convenience.
Oh, okay.
If you look at the bigger picture, businesses can actually use their OMail credentials within the OES for all sorts of crucial operations.
It is such as...
Well, you could do AI-driven marketing automation.
Mm-hmm.
You can set up your shop online with OShop.
Uh-huh.
And of course, you can manage all your finances through the integrated OWallet.
And the OWallet itself is tied directly to that same login.
Exactly.
Wow, so it really does simplify everything.
Yeah, the idea is to centralize all those essential financial functions. Managing earnings, handling withdrawals.
All in one place.
All in one place, all secure, all connected to your OMail login.
Now let's talk about privacy. I
Okay.
think it's a big concern for everyone these days.
Absolutely.
What kind of assurances are there with this system?
Well, OnPassive from the get-go has really emphasized user data privacy.
Good.
Their AI actually plays a role in encrypting everything.
Okay.
And they've been very clear that user data is not shared with any third parties.
That's reassuring.
And then on top of that, you've got OVerify, which is their Know Your Customer system, or OKYC.
Right.
And that can really enhance identity verification, which helps prevent fraud and further secures user accounts.
So it really sounds like this whole OMail and password setup is the key that unlocks this entire AI-driven world.
It is, it's more than just a login.
Right.
It's like your passport to this unified AI ecosystem that has the potential to transform how we communicate, how we workshop, learn, and manage our money.
All within this secure framework.
All within this secure framework, exactly.
It's pretty amazing to see how a single secure entry point can offer access to so much.
It is.
It really makes you think about how this kind of streamlined access might change our everyday interactions with all things digital.
That's a great point, and it's something I think everyone listening should consider.
Hmm.
How would having this single secure login that opens the door to all these different AI-powered services,
Right.
how would that simplify and maybe even enhance your own digital life?
That is a fantastic question and definitely something for everyone to think about.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much for this deep dive.
it was my pleasure.
We'll catch you next time.
Sounds good.
My little brother, my younger brother, my favorite brother out of these two bums. Ash Mafar, I love you, brother. The floor is yours, and thanks for coming, my man.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope that you're doing great. Something popped up. I really was enjoying the conversation with Amin, but I made a commitment. I needed to come and show up here. So it's all good. It's lots of progress and positivity. So I want to make sure I don't bring everything, in details, lots of mechanics. But I'm going to do my best to recap or summarize where we are here and the next phase. So we talked about a few things, perhaps moving forward and how the business is going to function. But before we get to that, I really have to address one of my biggest weaknesses, that I don't have enough time to respond to all the beautiful messages that you sent me on my birthday just passed. I'm officially grown up now, still growing, and I received lots of warm, beautiful, sincere messages, videos, things by mail. I want to thank you. All really made me smile, and I'm grateful forever. I really want to give back to as many of you as possible, because uh, we have a relationship that goes beyond business. Yes, business is a big part of our relationship, but we come to know each other at a personal level too, and it's an honor too. Uh, I really wish I could do the same to you, but I'm going to say it here publicly. Happy birthday to you if it passed this 2024, even from January. And if it's still coming until December, happy birthday to you. I wish you the very best health, love, success, dinero, if you like that, money, moolah, uh, and to be inspired as we are. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thanks a million. And I can't, say enough words to show how grateful I am. I'm thankful for you. It's literally, you're like a part of my family. I feel the same. So now we want to go back to fill you in where we are today. Simply, we're in a better position that we were, say, for the last several months. Today, we're at the best point as of now, and without lots of mechanics. But I don't want to speak too soon, and I don't want you to exaggerate with the following statement. As of now, we're working tirelessly around the clock to reopen the business as we were, and then communicate to you about the next phase. There's no secret. And we'll explain to you some of the necessary things that you should know, like what happened. Like, we owe you an explanation to what brought us to this situation. But this is not our priority. Our priority is to recover the business and move on to the next phase successfully without failure. As of now, my confidence level is 3,000% out of 100. And I mean to inflate it because I'm beyond confident that we will succeed. We're going to overcome this hurdle and we are going to be fine. Realistically, the more time we have, the less bugs and issues we will experience with you. If we're going to compromise that, so let me give you two scenarios. We can rush in and open as of next week. Okay? So myself, I'm having a live link as of Sunday evening. So our really talented team did two things so far. One is for me, created a platform that I can oversee every dot of the business in real time in any location around the clock without having to ask back and forth or miscommunication or gaps between departments and all of that. I have one exclusive link or facility where I'm able to track that. It's not 100% live, but this is where we're headed. So we have been preparing that. I believe within days I should be able to do that. So I will be more accurate, and I don't mind to share with you even more details when it comes to that, like mechanics. So this is really good news. This is a better way to manage and say control the progress. The second thing is we have another private link as of Sunday evening will allow us to monitor all the process in details anytime from any department, and then post that and past that, we will be more accurate, we will be more informed, because we will see the actual picture live, like API for those who know. I will be able to access that and real examples. So I would say, okay, well, this is not functioning, this is working, this is good. So let me give you the two scenarios. From Sunday, about a week, we can go live. Okay. If we go live after 7 days, there potential we are not going to find things perfected, but you'll be able to log in, find your data, you're in the right place, you have your team, all of that. I'm in favor of that scenario. It will give you the impression, okay, so OnPassive is not gone, is not going away, is coming back, and it will give you a sense of our tenacity, how aggressive we are in order to fight to get it, and then we'll talk about the journey later, not now. So this is one scenario. Now give us 8 days, we'll come back with lesser problems or breakage. 9 days, better.